In today's episode of the podcast, I am talking to Javere Green. Javere, much like myself, is in the early steps of this voiceover thing. I met Javere through this Discord group my community that I have been getting to know so well, and I'm getting to know them even better through this podcast, and that has just been fantastic. So, Javere is someone who, as a young kid, saw a show and said, "Mom, I want to be on TV." And that moment, that decision, that proclamation has guided him in such a interesting and fascinating way. I've loved having the opportunity to just hear his perspective on this journey and how he has really found appreciation for any given moment and seeks joy in those moments. He's made some fantastic transitions in life that I've learned so much about him in this episode, and I can't wait for you to have the same experience of just getting to know more of his journey and what makes him tick. Take a peek into the mind of a couple of creatives who are taking some steps into this saying, we're going to wing it. But good God, did we find people who we love the chance to wing it with? Javere chose to not do any video through this, so you're not going to see his face, but you can feel free to follow any of the links that are in the show notes to see his podcast, to listen to his podcast, I should say, see his website, and follow him on socials, because he's got a goal and he's going to make it with your help. So I hope you get as much out of this episode as I got out of just having the opportunity to share space with him. I'm just kind of winging it. Okay, first off, thank you so much for taking this time, Javere, to hang out with me and just talk through a bit of this process for you. I am very excited, honestly, to have you on this podcast today. So thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I listened to some of your stuff before on your podcast, and I really enjoy your content. And I'm really excited to be here and be a part of this journey with you. So, thank you for having me.
And it really is a journey, like everything. Starting off on this podcast was like so intimidating and crazy. And I don't know, people like you, people like everybody else in this group have just made it super approachable and fantastic. And you,
Hmm.
in the midst of that span, have also started your own podcast. What's that been like for
Yes.
you?
Oh God, where do I start? So yes, the group has been very helpful, very supportive, and like actually like helped me, encourage me to actually do the things that I want to do and want to see for myself. Starting the podcast, I was just like, you know what? Why don't I just do it? Like, like what's stopping me from doing it? So I went to go about and doing it, and it became apparent that I did not know what I was doing. So I had a blue snowball in my mic stand, and blue snowball's not bad for starting out, like, starting off everything, but it is bad when you don't have any, like, soundproofing
It's
and you live in New York.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I bet the beep beep was everywhere.
Oh, not even just that. It's just because I live a few blocks from the nearest, like,
Oh,
firehouse.
wow. Yep.
So sound was not the best. So that was a challenge, and then trying to figure out all this stuff with editing and stuff, and it was a whole different world. But I'm very glad that I did it because it's given me more knowledge and information about it, and it's also reassuring and refreshing to say that this is something that I can call my own. I don't know if you have that feeling with your podcast, what you're doing here, like feeling like this is mine and like no one can tell me what to do. Like I orchestrate all this. Is that how
Yeah.
you feel with yours?
Oh my God, yes. That's
Mhm.
so I started doing this feeling like I don't know, I saw the landscape of podcasts and a whole lot of content I was taking in, and it was great, important content, knowledgeable information, people who are absolute professionals. But creating this space for this podcast, this platform where one, I can flex those creativity muscles a bit, try to get a little
Mhm.
bit more of my almost conversational tone practiced within this. But more importantly to me was I didn't see a lot of I saw a lot of the success stories, but I didn't see a lot of the I'm in a work in progress stories. The
Mm.
I'm starting at this level and I'm trying to like the exploration of self-learning And I
Hmm.
was like, you know what? That's the corner I'm gonna try and throw my voice into the void on. Of I'm just gonna be talking about how I'm winging it, and literally threw that in the title of the podcast for that
Yeah.
reason. Like I wanted to show we're all kind of just winging it.
Yeah, and I agree with that. There's a funny post that I saw, and I keep looking at it because like it is very important. And I I really should put it as like my screensaver because it's really true. There is a post where it's like those comic strips where it's like those like cartoon like political cartoons or stuff like that,
Yeah.
like in that drawn in that style. So there's a guy that has like a sign and it says success, like you were saying, like they only show success stories. But in the next strip, it shows like everything on his written on his back. It says depression, tears, like
Oh
hard work,
yeah.
striving, all this other things, like being backstabbed, being all this, all those things. Like you don't see all that. You only see what is presented in front of you. And like that, like you said, it is like that. We
Yeah.
only see and we hear about the success stories. We don't hear about the journey coming up to it, you know. And the only time we hear about that is if the person's big enough to have a biography.
Yep.
And even then, that could be skewed a little bit depending on who's narrating it.
Yeah. And like I in all things media or what
Hmm.
I'm ingesting, I guess in general, I want to be able to see myself in it. I want to be able to see somebody
Hmm.
who has a similar story to my experience. So like feeling like I was needing to grow, that I'm at the start of this, like I wanted to see, does anybody else feel like this? Or you'd hear about people who it's like, I just suddenly got this thing and it suddenly took off, and like but they're already at that success point. So it's like I wanted to,
Yeah.
I don't know. I like seeing that represented as well. The I'm getting into this. And I love that you called out the blue yeti or like the blue snowball, because this was
Yeah.
my first like get into voiceover. Like I keep it in here now because I don't use this anymore, but it's this was
Nice
my
reminder.
go-to. Nice reminder.
Yeah.
Very much my
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah. I had that same similar reaction too when I had my ever first commercial that I've done.
Yeah.
Um, I kept one of the props with me being like, "This was my first. You know, this
Yep.
is like what started it off." Like,
Yeah.
and I want to keep this blue snowball, even if it like breaks or cracks later on in the future. Be like, this is what I started off with. This is like my starting point.
Yep.
So I think like those little mementos, those tokens are like the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm glad that you kept yours.
Yeah. It's
It's
like
really
those
cool.
businesses, those restaurants, like local places that have their very first dollar framed and on
Yeah,
the wall. Like, never forget your roots. Like, I love
exactly,
that.
exactly.
So I know a little bit of your story based on just listening to your podcast and
Mhm.
having the opportunity to interact with you here. But I'd love to hear more about how did you get involved with VO overall, with our group that we're part of, with I don't know the excitement you have for this industry.
Got it, got it. This is a good question. Um, how I got into it. Well, first I started off. Well, let's take it from all the way to the beginning for myself. Like when I was around the age of like 8 or 9, I was watching a critically acclaimed TV series, Emmy award winning TV series, Corey in the House. Um,
Yes.
And I was watching that. I told my mom when I pointed to the TV, being like, "Mom, I want to be on TV." And so ever since that, my whole life has geared towards wanting to go into the entertainment business, being an actor on TV and stuff like that. And now, sorry, I'm a little cutting over a cold a little bit. Um, Now, ever since then, I went into college. I had an insane growth spurt. My voice sounded 10 times deeper, and people were telling me in college, since most people are in the entertainment business, being like, you have a really nice voice. You should do like radio or anything like voiceover or something like that.
Mhm.
And like everyone was telling me that while I was trying to pursue like the field, and everyone was saying that my voice has a nice quality, has a nice sounding quality to it. And I was like, I don't know if I believe y'all, but they kept saying it to me, and I was like, you know what? I might as well try. Might as well try. And then I met and then I contacted Jenna, who actually went to my school, Shenandoah University. She was
Ah.
a like a longtime graduate, a really nice alum. And I contacted her. She said like, "Hey, here I have this group," and then I joined the group that way. and she really got me introduced into the voiceover world and what everyone does around here, which is kind of insane stuff if you really think about it. Like all the VOs I've talked to, they're insane. They do so much stuff. It's crazy, and
Yeah.
I did not know how deep and vast the world was. I just thought you just record something, send it to someone, and then they put it all together. No, that's probably like the basic thing of it, but there's so much going on to it that meets the eye. The recording, the do-overs, the slight script changes, like the auditions, like the multiple auditions for any different sort of thing, different clients, different expectations. Like it is an insane zoo world in the voiceover world, and I'm excited for it, but I was not prepared for it,
Yeah.
definitely. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm really glad and excited to be a part of it. And hopefully my main dream with voiceover is to be like in animation, anime, or video games, and yeah, so that's my main thing for that, and that's how I want to be in the VO world.
That is, I love so much of that because you have hearing that the I well, and I also know because I've seen your website and things, your tremendous amount of background within theater and your formal training with school and all of those things. How has that kind of contributed to this excitement for you, or has it, with the
Oh, oh,
direction?
oh no, it has. It most certainly has. Mainly because like being on stage, I get to play a different character, different
Hmm.
person for myself, and that's always how I want my life to be. Not necessarily just being a different person, just to be a different person, because I like myself
Yeah.
to a degree. Um,
I feel that. I feel that. Yep.
But yeah, no, but I like to teleport other people to a different world, and I love to
Mm.
carry an audience to through a story of these characters and them experiencing these things in a real time sense, and like sense being like it's not like actually happening. We just believe it's actually happening to these characters.
Yeah.
I love teleporting the audience away from just like 2 seconds from their busy day, and I always like doing that. And if I can do that with either my voice, my body, however, that's what I would like to do. And I feel like being in theater, it has helped me strengthen that belief
Mm.
and being able to do it not only through my body, but mainly through my voice and how it carries and how it's presented to everyone else.
Yeah. And of course, anybody who's listening can hear you do have a very unique the depth of your voice is like it's so I love when I can like it's the kind of voice that can help me suspend my belief of a moment to take me to that place. So it's like it is quite enjoyable to have that background that you can
Oh,
project and do it in such a way. Love that. Absolutely love that.
oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know how I got this voice that everyone seems to admire so much. I guess I gotta thank my mother for that. I don't know.
Thanks, mom.
Thanks,
Uh,
ma'am.
out of
Yes,
curiosity,
yes.
just because I would feel absolutely like I've missed an opportunity if I didn't ask this. Anime, what's your favorite one, and which one would you
Ooh.
recommend? Because you mentioned that's the
Oh
direction you want to
no.
go, so I gotta know.
Oh no. Well, I hope you're here for a lengthy time. I hope you're here for a lengthy
Did I
time.
open the can of worms here? Did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh man, I
You
love it.
did.
Go for it. I'm so
Oh,
curious.
The first question again was which one do I
What's
like?
your preferred like what is the one that is like your go-to of saying this is like when people ask me about anime, this is the first one that kind of pops into my head. And which one would you recommend to I'll say a newcomer in anime, like somebody who's never dipped their toe? So like those are the two. I'm curious.
God, this is a
This one's out of
very
left
difficult.
field. Out of left
This is a
field. I'm
very
sorry.
I was not ready for this. This is a very difficult question. Okay. All right. So okay. So the first question I'll answer is this is okay, so my alt oh god, I don't know if I can do it. God damn it, why'd you do this to me, Andrew? Um okay. Uh, I'm not gonna get any flack for this because as an avid anime watcher and manga reader,
Mhm. Mhm.
I know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
everything I'm saying is almost gospel. So my favorite anime. yes, I'm gonna have to say it. My favorite anime all time is Cowboy Bebop.
Ooh, okay.
Yes,
What was
Cowboy Bebop.
what was your feeling about the live action?
I hate it.
Okay.
I
Strong
hate it. I
opinions.
hate. There are some good moments, some unique things that they did,
Uh-huh,
but
uh-huh.
the dialogue and everything else was just too slow, and it just did not work. It did not work at all.
A
Um,
lot more misses than wins. I could agree with
y-
that.
Definitely a lot more misses. Though I will say the One Piece live action anime that has some trailers coming out for it does look a little interesting. So
Yeah.
I'll keep that one open because the people that are working on it actually do like One Piece. I don't know why they do, but they do like One Piece.
Yeah.
I just
They
didn't.
apparently have a lot of time on their hands because I
Yeah,
tried to start it. I was like, I don't have this much time to be able to catch up on all of this. So,
no,
no, thank you.
you don't need to. You don't need to. I'm gonna
Yeah.
upset a lot of One Piece fans, but you don't. Listen. I like me some One Piece. You
Yeah.
know, occasionally.
I like the
On
reference, like the pop culture, especially within the anime culture. Like
Yeah,
there's a bit of a not badge of honor, but like street cred that like I get the references of like all the
yeah, definitely, definitely. And one anime that I will recommend to people to get into, Cowboy Bebop. I'm sorry, no. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, because like that is a very specific type of genre. That is a specific niche. So I would not
mm,
do that for them. I think what will get people more interested in anime is either um Code Geass or Death Note. That's the other one. Death Note. Yeah,
yeah.
those will get more people interested because the Code Geass one takes a unique sort of anti-hero, which is like a popular thing where
Yeah.
most TV and genre series now people like the anti-hero or like the cool suave type leader and stuff like that with unique powers and abilities.
Mhm.
And the abilities are like sort of like the abilities that he has are sort of like makes sense in that universe and it's like not like over the top crazy like Dragon Ball Z with people just like flying key blasts and everything like that. No, it's
Yep.
pretty minimalistic at most parts with the abilities. And same thing with Death Note too. It's more like drama, which most Westerners like the drama aesthetic of it,
Yeah.
and like a mystery. They like to keep up with things, you know.
Yeah, there was
So,
so much intrigue through that entire thing. Like
hmm
from beginning to end, there was like it kept me captivated. Absolutely. This has been the Book of Javere, chapter 3, verse 10. The gospel has been spoken.
the gospel has been spoken. Yes, that was a hard question, Andrew. Don't ever ask me that question ever again.
I had to know. Like, I interact with a lot of anime, for a lack of a better term, nerds, and
Yes, we are nerds.
being one myself, like to a light degree, obviously not the depth. I won't claim the gospel because I am still reading the gospel, it feels like.
Hmm
Um, but yeah, like I started with some easy common ones, like of course I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z and
hmm
the entire Toonami collection, basically, including
hmm
Cowboy Bebop. And as I got older, once I got into like the age where I'm choosing rather than just taking what's on TV at the
Yeah.
time, I started getting into one called Darker Than Black, which I can't find anywhere for viewing, like
Uh-huh.
Crunchyroll, Netflix. I watched it when it was on Netflix originally, but Darker Than Black was one that absolutely captivated me. And then, the common ones people talk about, Full Metal Alchemist and Death Note, Attack on Titan, like those suddenly get into those. And the most recent one that I was really into and I haven't watched much more of and I want to was Chainsaw Man. And I was surprised I
Ah,
actually
yes.
liked and enjoyed Chainsaw Man. Based on its description, I did not think for a second I would enjoy it.
Yeah, it is a very, very weird anime
Yeah,
for people that haven't read the manga. It's very weird for people to get into. I will say the animation is really top notch in that anime.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, it's a very different, very like it's like the darker side of anime a little
Yeah.
bit because it's like the berserks out there, the berserk fans out there in the world. It's like that type of anime. It's like a dark, grittier anime or
Mm.
Parasite too.
Ooh,
Parasite's
yeah.
another one.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's like that type of anime, which is not. It's mainly for like the hardcore fans that like or at least the manga readers that read that and want to see that happen. It's not like lighthearted in a sense. Not that all anime is like dark or gritty, but like most of them have like a different color palette, which is like bright and vibrant.
Yeah.
While Chainsaw Man is a little bit more grittier and grungier and a little
Mm.
dirtier. They have some contrasting vibrancy, like Makima, for example, has the long red hair and
Mm-hmm.
the swirly eyes, but the environment is just a little bit darker.
Yeah,
So it's interesting to see that, and yeah, I
for
just
sure.
I love anime. I can talk about this for all day.
See, this is great. I did not expect to get into like an in-depth anime discussion in this, and like that's one of the fun things about this format is like I'm gonna roll with what I hear because you piqued my interest with that initially. But
Oh, nice.
to kind of carry us into the topic of just winging it in general, uh,
Mhm.
tell me about a time where you kind of felt like you were just winging it.
Coming here to New York.
Yeah,
Coming into New York. Yeah. No. I had a plan coming into here. A plan.
yeah.
Did I follow through with my plan? I will say, like on a percentage, 30%.
Okay, love it.
30%. 30% of
30% is
the
a good
plan.
percentage, and especially in a big city. Where were you before New York, if I could ask?
Yes, I was in Virginia. I was in Virginia for the
Which part of
majority of my time.
Virginia?
Ashburn.
Nice. I'm originally from Virginia Beach.
Oh, the cooler one. Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah,
The cooler place.
being there, it's like we don't think of ourselves that cool. But yeah, no, I liked
Yeah,
Virginia Beach. But anyway, you
yeah.
said New York and winging
Yes.
it there. 30%'s
Yeah,
pretty good for that big of a move.
yeah, it was quite a big move. I didn't get to most of the things I got to, but right now, like how things are going now, they're starting to pick up to the plan that I had before, and it's starting to go into motion and everything like that.
Mm,
Starting to feel pretty good about myself right now in this direction, in this new field that I've literally just been like just like throwing myself into, just being like, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. It got to the point where as I was like trying to speed run my process, my 5 year plan, I
mm.
got really sad and depressed because of like all the stuff that I was doing, and I did not take the time rather, to be like, hold on, pause.
Yeah.
I am in New York. I am in one of the coolest places in the United States of America, or should I say, the Divided States of America.
Yep.
Divided States of
That's
America.
pretty accurate. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Feel that.
Um, and I need to enjoy myself here. I should just walk around the city. I should just take in the time and like contact some friends up here, and then just like just explore, taste different foods from different parts of the area,
Mm.
different cultures, explore those things, and just relax, and everything will fall into place. And
Yeah.
as I started to think that way more things that I wanted for my plan started to actually happen. And so I gave myself the time to breathe, to process. I got to the point where I am now, and it's really good. And I just feel like things are actually starting to work for me now than me working to get it now. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. That's the main difference that I had.
Yeah, you're talking a lot about like being present in a moment as opposed to like just rushing through to get to the next thing, like just taking a moment and appreciating the space you are occupying right now, being present mentally, physically, and I love that cuz when I moved from Virginia Beach out here to Cincinnati, I once a bit of that rush was able to subside a bit, it gave me that space to start appreciating where I was, see the people around me,
Hmm.
experience the events and things, and it definitely created different and new and exciting and thrilling opportunities as I stopped like holding so tightly to what I thought was going
Hmm.
to be and started just letting whatever was going to come. So I love that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a really big difference. It's a really big difference. I'm very excited for this new chapter in my life to start now. I'm contacting with someone that's going to help me out even more with my field and my what I would like to do with
Hmm.
both film and television stuff and voiceover stuff, because right now it's not the best. My reels from college, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, it's kind of always that space of always learning, right? Like
Definitely.
everybody starts somewhere and like I'd imagine 5 years, 10 years down the line, just like you've got your, blue snowball, like, we're
Yeah,
gonna be able to pick up those things and just say, "Wow, that was me then," like, time capsule, basically.
definitely, definitely. And I like that. I like those little tidbits being like, this is what I am then, this is what I am now, and like the arc of your journey. And I
Yeah.
think that is the main point that you want to you we should strive for, just going through the arc of it. Yes, I'd like to not to take it back to anime again,
Yes!
but god damn it. I like I think this is like what I need to structure, like how I like to structure my life. Even though this is like the same thing for plot structure for everything, but like it's more certainly for anime. There's gonna be moments in your life where you're like starting to make progress, and but then there's always gonna be like someone or something, like anything that's gonna be like trying to hinder you or trying to harm you down,
Mm,
and then you're gonna have your like depression era or your depression arc, like some people say in the anime culture, like you're in your depression arc, then
mm,
something's going to snap you out of it to be like, okay, this is what you need to do to get better now. And like, you need to go through that journey. You can't ignore that feeling. You can't ignore it because whatever happens, life will go on and you must keep going forward.
yeah.
Um, and when like when your character's in like the depression arc in an anime, someone will remind them like what you need to do now to move forward because you can't stay in this one emotion forever. You can't live like this forever because life will continue to happen whether you like it or not. Something else terrible might even happen later on in life too. Something else if you don't do anything, you know. So
Yeah.
like there's no point of sitting in that pit of despair for long because life will continue to happen whether you like it or not.
Yeah. It follows a lot of the, what's the literary thing? The hero's journey. Like, the
Yes.
the whole A, B, C, D follows a lot of that
Hmm.
hero's journey, and just being ready for when your, I don't know, your Yoda shows up and, like, teaches you
Hmm.
something new, or, like, definitely just appreciating it's gonna be hard, but finding the right spaces and people who will help teach you, hone you, strengthen you, and take you to the next place. And it sounds like you have somebody who is helping you out right now in the New York scene and with your background and what you're trying to do, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like the person that's like truly helped me out the most is my professor, Professor
Mm.
Cedric Hill. He was the one that actually like encouraged me to actually go down this path and to go move to New York and see what actually is happening down here. I should thank him and also hurt him because like this was a big move to do this, but I'm glad I did it because it pays dividends and he's helped me out. And right now I'm talking to one of the persons that he has directed before in a short film, and I'm talking to her right now, and we're gonna make connections happen. We're gonna hopefully have some moves happening, and
Mm.
she's very, very interested in what I do and what I have to show for myself, and yeah, and that just happened recently. So everyone's journey is different. You
Yeah.
find your Yoda, you find your master, or sorry, getting over a cold.
You're
Um,
good.
um, you find whoever it is that you need whenever it happens for you. Like you can't rush into it. Like you will find those mentors, you'll find those inspirational people that actually care for you. Excuse me, that actually care about you a lot in life. You will find them later on. Like it's it's hard. It's not easy to find them. It's not easy to like have them be readily available. It's not like a one ticket all. You know, um, it comes to you, and when it does, you just have to accept that this is the new part of the journey that you're on.
Mm. Yeah. And it's constantly being written, right? Like
Hmm.
you're however many days, years, months, weeks, whatever into it, and it's still being written. So there's so much
Yeah.
opportunity within that.
Hmm.
When
Like you
it
can't dictate everything.
For sure, as much as I freaking want to.
I
Um,
know, right?
so when it
Makes life a
comes
lot easier.
Oh my god, yes. When it comes to this whole concept, like you've touched on a lot of things of like some of the pieces that have helped you elevate your game and this whole what you're winging it through. I'm curious, kind of within that, when do you recognize, or how do you recognize you've hit that next level? Like, where we were pushing through all this muck in the mud for so long, and then we realize, like, oh, the steps have gotten a little lighter, a little easier, a little less resistance. So, like, how do you really feel you've hit that next level, and kind of like, I don't know, what was the tipping point for you?
It's a good question. It's hard because I don't know it perfectly. Actually, I don't know it yet because I'm just starting out right now. But I know from this experience that I had recently with what I talked about before, like hopefully have this person help me out with projects that she has in mind for me, um reels she has in mind for me to do, um sh- short scenes or movies or films and stuff like that she has me to do. Like I feel like right now this is the approaching the next step. This is
Yeah.
me approaching the next step. So the next level. And I don't know what to do with this feeling yet. Like I don't know it yet. Like this is a very new feeling for me. I guess what I can say that I can remember me hitting the next step or the next level was very early on when I attended my first film festival, and to be a part of that whole conglomerate of people, that just filmmakers and like writers, screen directors, like all these different types of people, like, and I'm in the room with all of them, and I feel like, oh wow, this is really really cool. Like I'm approaching where I need to be at. I'm not advancing. I'm not falling. I'm where I need to be at.
Yeah.
and and talking to this new person now, um is getting me to that next level where I need to be to where I am one of them, not trying to be one of them, where I am one of them. It's it's weird. I don't know it yet. I'm still processing this. Like it's just
Yeah.
very fresh. It just happened literally like 2 hours ago.
Oh,
Um
wow. Wow,
yeah.
that's really recent.
Yeah, so I'm still processing this whole thing. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really fun. Um yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out of it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. She's very cool.
I'm super
Yeah.
excited to hear more about what comes out of that for you. And obviously, like, there's still so much. 2 hours ago is not enough time to digest, I'm sure. So you've got a lot to chew on, but I'm excited to see what's next for you in that. Because I can say, like, some of the things you've been describing really involves a lot of. It's tough. I talked about this in the interview I did with Jenna recently, in
Hmm.
this podcast, but like there's loosely, I loosely quote it because I don't memorize a dang thing, it feels like. But C.S. Lewis has this quote where it's like, day by day, nothing's different, but when you look back, it's all changed.
Yeah.
And finding the moments for that realization. You talked about like your early reels having the, old microphone hanging out so you
Hmm.
know where you came from. Day by day, it doesn't feel like it's any different, but then you look back and it's like it's all different. Like from your podcast, even just listening to it, your first episode to the most recent one, there is that obvious growth and change in like how your voice is presented through it. Um, Not even just your really cool musical intros and outros, because you nailed that pretty early on, but like your voice is clearly like getting more defined and getting more uh for a lack of better terms, confident in the way you're presenting and the way you're doing. So it's like you can hear that nuance coming into play more. So yeah, a lot of that looking back and seeing everything actually is different, even though day by day it didn't feel like much was changing, potentially.
Yeah. Well, damn, that is a good quote, and that is very high praise. Thank you for that. I never like noticed it like that or thought to look at it like that. So thank you for that. I appreciate that a
Yeah.
lot. Thank you.
Oh, and
Wow.
I'm curious, based on your podcast, is the Texas Film Festival the one you're talking about with the film festival you went to? Because you went to one
Yes.
there.
Yes. The Austin, Texas Film Festival. It's like Austin Revolution Film Festival. Yes.
Very cool.
Oh God.
I've always wanted to go to a film festival, but I have not myself yet. But just want to be in the room to see these. I don't know. I love hearing creatives' stories, like just
Same here.
hearing fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
It is. It is. And that was a time and a half, drained half of my bank account, but it was a time. It was a time and a half because if you know Texas, it was like, hey, you like this brisket? Oh, I know you like this
Mm,
brisket, tall boy. Yeah, I
yep.
know what else you like? You like this beer? How's about 10 of them?
Yep. We're gonna
and
make sure that you eat, wine, dine, all the nice things with a lot
yes,
of rowdy people around you.
exactly. That was an unforgettable experience. One of the best experiences I had in my entire being. Um, and yeah, that was I enjoyed that very much so, even though expenses were crazy, but it
Yeah.
was an experience that is the experience. And through that experience, actually, this is a completely different thing. But through that experience, I met a casting director, and I was like, "Hey, I want to be a casting assistant." She was like, "Okay." So I was a casting assistant for her, and I did that. Wow, sorry, I just realized I do too much stuff.
Oh, man. No rest for the wicked, right?
Jesus, Jesus, I work too much.
Oh, man.
Wow.
What was that
So
experience like?
yeah, so that's also a next level thing. I forgot it because I did it so long ago. But being in the other side as someone that comes from like mainly auditioning and doing all that auditioning stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
very interesting to be like in the opposite shoes and just like watching and seeing what you want. Um, at the end of the day, it left me like respecting and loving like the casting directors a lot more and respecting what their decisions come to at the end of the day. I started to put myself in that mindset, being like, I want this person to be good. I want them to not waste my time because I
Mm.
need someone to fill in this role. And can this person fill in this role? Is this person qualified enough to do it? And then, like thinking those questions, and I'm just like, huh. So next time I do an audition, I will have that knowledge and
Yeah.
know those questions of what they're wanting because they just want this person to be good. They want this person to be able to work, is qualified to work, and is likable, you
Mm.
know? And so, like, I'll be thinking about that. So, having that knowledge, having that, for that one day, I was like, I learned so much from that one experience. And I really hope she has me do more of them. Um,
Yeah.
but, yeah, that was really cool. And I would love to do more casting assistant jobs because I like being able to, like, find the person that will fit right for the role and, like, understanding that logic of what goes in the mind of a casting director and like it was so cool, it was so fun, it was refreshing, it was different, it was just so much, just so much emotions I had with it, and god damn. And and right now actually we finished the casting process. We finished everything. We have the team. We have everything together. We're starting a FundMe page, or not GoFundMe, but like a Seed and Spark page, where
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
for mainly creators and filmmakers. And we're almost reaching our goals. We reached halfway through our goal for the fundraiser, and
That's awesome.
yeah, feel pretty good about that. And so I'm gonna be helping more. I'm gonna be posting more on my social media about this because like I'm part of the marketing team, and yeah, we just really want this story to happen. Um,
That's so
yeah.
cool because, like, the kind of what you've been talking about, that uh, letting go of the direction you maybe assumed or thought or were saying this was going in, and then like letting go a bit, loosening up, and just being present in the moment in Austin and New York with your professor, like all these different opportunities where you just stayed open, and suddenly that's when the opportunities came because you could see those opportunities. You just showed up at those opportunities. Like, that's really, dang, I cannot wait to hear more about whatever this project is that
Oh,
you're working on.
oh goodness gracious me! Like I, I, I don't. And this person works in L.A. too, so that's another thing. Like
Yeah.
I really do hope you go to a film festival one day because you will excel so much there.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
yes, you will do so much there. This is not the universal you. This is you personally,
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah, yeah.
You will because you will learn so much. You'll experience so much from many different fields and many different aspects. It is quality to go to. Though I will give you a fair bit of warning. Not each film festival is treated equally.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not many of them that are like that have the same experience, that are fun, that are like enjoyable, that care about like the filmmakers and all the other stuff. Like when I was at the Austin Film Festival, most of them were saying like this is the best one I've ever been to.
Mm.
And some people were like, "I'm sorry, this was like your very first experiences, like your very first festival. It doesn't get much better than this." Some people
Uh,
were saying that for there accepting awards and stuff like that. So I was just like, so it's giving you a little bit, a fair bit of warning. I
that's
don't
good
know
to
what other
know.
film, yes, I don't know what other film festivals there are like that. That are like the fair bit of warning stuff too. But like, it's just like something to keep in mind. Of
For sure. For sure.
yeah.
And I appreciate that because I want to go, but I also want to manage my expectations lightly.
Hmm.
I've met a few like local Cincinnati movie makers, and those they were so kind, so nice, and they like it was this little happy hour conversation where we were just all getting to know each other a little bit, and it's the thing I've loved about stepping into the voiceover space is like you've touched on with our group, the incredible amount of support, encouragements,
Hmm.
trainings, like sharing such a wide wealth of knowledge has been
Yep.
unquestionably the thing that has helped me personally get to that next level is that
Hmm.
kind of community support. So like the excitement of thinking like film and that industry being able to bleed in. And I love that you have connections now in New York and Texas and now in California, and like these connections, those are like the hot spots for all of these things.
Also, Connecticut too. I forgot to mention I did a show up there in Newark Conservatory.
Ooh.
And God, how am I functioning? No wonder I feel sick
Yeah.
because everything's catching up to me now.
Well, thank you for carving this time out, because good golly, I don't know where you found it with all these different things you're working on. It sounds like you still have to have some time to let it all catch up to you, but how do you really celebrate when you realize like this was a win or like those big wins? It sounds like Austin was a huge win with its own version of celebrations, but like what's your favorite way of just saying like I did this thing, like here's a gift to myself, whether that's time or otherwise?
I think what I would like to do, and I need to stop doing this other thing that I've been doing, which was like the go into the next thing, go into the
Mm.
next work after I had like a big success win. Like
Mm.
I had a one film festival in New York that I was helping for. It was like the Latino Film Festival, and I was helping them out there in New York. And my next thing was just like, okay, what's the next thing? And like that was the main reason why I went to my depression arc because like I kept focusing on what the next thing is instead of just
Mm.
celebrating like the little small moments. And so now, and when I started now to celebrate the little small moments, like being able to be like, I have a job now. I have a job in New York. Celebrate that instead of just like I didn't do that. I was like, okay, now I have this next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing. So like that was my entire mindset, like throughout the entirety, like near late fall, late winter, early, not really early spring because early spring that's when things started to pick up.
Mm.
But then I started to actually be like, okay, I'm here now. Let me have this moment to celebrate. Let me indulge myself in the time that I'm here for, what I'm here to do. Um, and like let me enjoy myself in the present moment. So I think what I like to do now is be in that present moment, being like actually like live in that present moment for right now, being like, okay, I did this. I deserve something for this. Like, yes, I did this. This is a thing that I'm doing.
Mm.
For example, after this call, um, I did this call. I did this call with you. I had an interview with you. I'm gonna celebrate being like, yes, I did this call. I did this thing with him. This is a good day. I did something today. Like just those small things, nothing
Yeah.
big, nothing major. For example, like tomorrow, I don't have much stuff going on tomorrow. And will I be sad about that? No, because I did so many other things. I feel like I deserve some rest. Or maybe I even went for a walk. I'll be like, I went for a walk today. That's good. That's good. That's great. I celebrate that because like I did something for that day and that made me feel good. And so I've been mainly trying to celebrate more of the things that make me feel good now. Um but for like the bigger wins that I've had, like the Austin Film Festival, I get a drink.
Mhm.
I get a drink. I indulge in some like candies and stuff like that. Mainly red velvet cake.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yep, yep.
Oh.
Decadence. Decadence and luxury.
Oh.
Love it.
Yes, just indulge myself in that and being like, this is a good feeling. I like this feeling, and I just like to keep feeling this way. So mainly now, what I've been trying to do is live presently and celebrate those little small wins now and again.
Yeah, those were so like being able to point out the small wins as they came and almost daily, like it was a necessity. When I first started getting into this industry, I left my last job, came straight into this, and I relate a lot to the feeling like I just need to do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. But being able to finally stop and value and appreciate and quantify the things I did do on a
Hmm.
given day, like I was pushing myself hard towards burnout prior to actually realizing like no, I today was a good day, like cuz there it was a long time ago. I was in India with a volunteer team. I was leading this team, but we were just getting beat up, like just physically exhausted from all the work we were doing out there. And one of the people who was there just sort of walked around this. We were working on a building, just sort
Hmm.
of helping out some partners that we had out there. And she went around and just sort of like was writing things down. And I thought she was just writing for the sake of writing, like needing to just take a moment, think for herself. But she came back to our group and was just like, I think it's so important for us to have quantifiables for everything we got done here. Because we're all in
Mm.
the midst of it and it's tough to just take a moment and see the quantifiables. What can we actually quantify here? And she listed out um, the exact amount of steps around a certain area that we were kind of like cleaning up and fixing up. And like she listed all these things. And I was like, when you actually quantify
Hmm.
what feels like such a frustrating small thing in the moment adds up to this huge uh I don't know, barrel of gratitude we had by the end of it. Just like, yeah, we're exhausted, we feel beat up, but that's because of everything we did prior to this. And like,
Hmm.
yeah, being present in those moments, I love that. That's like you call that out as the celebration of the wins, because those are so critical to something like this, where day to day I can
Exactly.
stand right here and unless it's not about getting paid for the work, or like it's doing the dang thing, like just
Yeah.
day by day taking it one step at a time.
Exactly. Yeah. And and that sentiment you said at the end there, not doing it for the money because I would do this for free. Money's nice.
Yeah, of
Um,
course, absolutely.
I would do this for free because this is what I like to do. I love performing. I love entertaining people. I love telling stories. And I love being able to teleport audiences to a different world, and I love being able to do that through myself and through a character, and just being able to. It exhilarates me. It gives me life, honestly. And there's literally nothing else I would like to do with my life other than this. Like I'm in it for the long haul, and being able to like quantify all those little things that you do when you said that to me, I was like, yeah, no, being able to quantify all those things, it's very important because we don't dwell on those things. Because unfortunately, in our field, we live in a sort of comparison or like seeing what this other person's doing, being like, oh, this person's out, well, and
Yeah,
just judgmentality of like us and ourselves, and like deters us from actually doing it and actually doing the thing. I hate that because most people that when they see someone else doing that they're doing the thing, they're like being like successful or something like that in their field, in the field that you in the artistry that you want to be in, it deters most people and then they're just like, I don't want to do it anymore. And
yeah,
that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart being people being like, I don't want to do this anymore. No, I'm done. And like it's if it was easy, then everyone would do it. And not everyone's doing it because like it is a very very hard field to like get into and actually be seen for what you were able to do. um but it's just it breaks my heart to see people just being like, I'm done, I give up.
yeah.
And I came close to that point where I wanted to give up, and I was just like, if I give up now, then I will betray everything that I stand for to this
Mm,
moment, and I will betray the kid in me that wanted to be on TV. There's
mm,
no way I can give up now after I invested so much of my blood, sweat, and tears into this whole field. And that's when I actually started to count and quantify the little things that I've done, because that was gives me support. That's what gives me energy to keep doing this, because in our field we don't get much support from everyone. But in this collective group, we get a support from these people that are actually doing the thing, and we also celebrate their wins. And
Yeah.
as well, we celebrate the wins that everyone gets because it encourages us to continue moving forward. Because I like to live in a mindset where if they can do it, I can do it. You know,
Yeah.
and I feel that that's what we should be aiming towards in this industry, in this field, is like if they can do it, I can do it. Um, I learn from them, and then I make it into my own, and I do something great with it. Like that's what I would like to encourage in this field. But unfortunately, not everyone thinks that way when they
Mhm.
see something initially at first glance. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
It very much piggybacks on I come from a world of just tons of cliches. Like my past
Hmm.
job was just cliche after cliche, but some of those that have been fantastic that I still utilize are ones like comparison is the thief of joy. And
Hmm.
this kind of goes hand in hand with that. It's so important in this industry, in this field of work, to have the tenacity and gain the self-worth to be able to see others succeed and celebrate that without letting the what about me's take over, right? Like it's
Hmm.
so easy to be like, but what about me? And it's like, no, I can celebrate that my peers and my buddies are all rocking it and freaking love that and see that from the perspective of I'm so happy for them. I want to learn from that person, or I want
Yeah.
to I'm so grateful to get to spend like share space with them.
Exactly, exactly. Connections. This is a whole connection-based industry, and if you were to be like deterred from someone's successes, and what does that say about you as a person? If you are just like, oh, I don't want this person to succeed. No, this person's not that great. Just like that feel of negativity, then not much thing is going to happen for you if you think that way. It's a very bad way of thinking,
Yeah.
and being able to connect with someone, being like just to be there when they succeed or
Mhm.
to show up when they succeed, like that just goes a long way for other things to happen. For example, my friend had a show in 54 Below, and she was incredible. And I was fortunately able to see her perform live, and she sang so beautifully, and I knew she had an amazing voice, and she thought she didn't do that great, but I told her like you performed a thing, you did that upstage, and like to celebrate what you were able to accomplish up there, because not many people can say that they performed in New York. It
Yeah.
performed in New York. Not many people can say they performed in New York. I
Yeah.
have yet to perform live in New York. Wait, no, I have. God damn it! But it wasn't like a real like traditional thing. It was like stage. It was like a stage reading type thing.
Hey,
It
it's
wasn't.
it's you performed
Yeah.
live and you performed not many people can say they performed
God
live in New
damn
York.
it! God damn it, Andrew! I'm tired of you using my words against me. But yeah, no, damn it! I'm mad at you. But yeah, but not many people can say that. So like, I want to encourage her of that and being like, you are good, you are enough, and more successful things are going to happen for you. Just keep moving forward and stuff like that. And I was telling her those things, and she started to feel a little bit better. She started to feel more supported and secure. That's what we should be doing in this field because, like,
Hmm.
as artists, we get in our own heads about our own performances. I have a nasty habit about that too.
Yeah.
Um, just being able to support each other and being like, no, you are good. What you're able to do is really good, and celebrate what you have accomplished. It speaks a long ways. Like, would you imagine you would have been in that show like 5 years ago? Like,
Yeah.
no, like celebrate how where you came from and where you are now. And I feel like we should be encouraging that of other people to celebrate people for where they came from and where they are now. And we should really just help each other out because we hear a lot of no's. We are probably the one, like us as people, we hear a lot of rejection more than most.
Mm.
It came to the point, and this is going to be a slight segue. It came to the point where, like in relationships, like relationships with one on one, with like a person, like romantically interested in, if they say no, I'm just like okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm moving on. I don't dwell on it anymore. I don't think about it anymore. I'm just like, all right, all
Oh,
right,
anybody who's
we're
ever
good.
worked in sales knows the same thing of like, "Hey, you
Yeah.
wanna buy this thing? No? Okie dokie, moving on to the next one."
Uh, yeah, just move. We're just moving on. We don't dwell on certain things, and I think that scares some people sometimes because
Yeah.
it's just like, wait, they're cool with that. Like they're not. Oh, that's interesting. That's weird. So we hear rejections left and right, like every single time. Sometimes we don't even hear anything. So that's another thing. So
Yeah.
like, it is a industry that gives us backbone and gives us the confidence to be like, I'll accept what I can. Well, I'll accept what's good for me and not what's below of me. And I will continue to do this field, this profession that serves me and doesn't work against me. And
Yeah.
I'll work with people that serve me and doesn't work against me. And that circle gets tighter and tighter and smaller as you keep on thinking in that direction. Because you start to see all the people that are fake out there in the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
Perspective is everything, honestly, in this and most things.
yes,
Perspective.
perspective, yes, yes, yes.
So
Oh gosh.
I'm so curious now, like, because I feel like we have hit every single thing I was really hoping to get out of this. So I'm super duper like crazy appreciative of your voice in this because honestly, I like hearing just I don't know, a lot of tenacity, a lot of perspective, and perspective evolving and changing as it needs to. And like that's I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm excited to hear what's next for you on all those things. But kind of like as a summation for all of these things, how can or what are some things you'd love to highlight your own personal chance to be a commercial for yourself here? How can people stay in touch with you who might be listening to this?
Oh God. Okay. Well, my socials are. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Kind of.
I'll
Um.
link whatever social you want in these notes.
Oh, please do because I have a goal. Hopefully, please God, to have at least 1,000 followers on my Instagram. At least, and because that's where I'm going to be posting most of my stuff on there too. Um, and honestly, my name is easily Googleable. If you type in Javere Green, you'll be able to find literally everything that I have on there. Which took a lot of work to get to happen. By the way, it took a lot of work to get that happen.
Websites are never easy.
Websites are never easy, yes, but my website's on there, my socials are on there, like everything's on there, Facebook, Instagram on there, yes, yes. So, but I want to have at least 1,000 followers by the end of the year. If I can get it sooner, then that's a win. We celebrate, yay!
Heck yes. Heck
Yes, but
yes.
yes, but my IG is always bet on green, um, which is a play on words for like the famous like casino thing where they say always bet on black,
Mm-hmm.
but I say always bet on green because my last name is Green, and I'm black man. I don't know if they can tell that through my voice, but I'm a black man.
Probably not, honestly. And
Probably
that's
not.
voices are voices, you know? So like but
Voices are voices.
I loved your handle actually when I first met you on here, and it was only on when I listened to your podcast that I realized like, oh, that's a real clever play on words there. I liked that.
Thank you, appreciate it. Oh, speaking of which, I don't think we ever talked about what my podcast is. Oh, yes, my
Tag it,
podcast
tag
is
it, tag it.
yes, I can't speak. My podcast is Tall Black Drama. Yes, that's that one. And I have another one that I'm associated with, where we just talk about celebrity news and stuff like that. I haven't made it public yet because we're waiting for like more episodes to come out and content to come out. But at this point, we have enough on there, and plus, there's also a sister podcast on that channel as well. And if you go to, it's called Two Halves Podcast. Two and then I need to sneeze. Yeah, halves like the word. Uh, do you ever get that feeling when you need to sneeze and
Yep.
you don't sneeze?
And it just doesn't come. Yep.
Yeah, just the worst feeling in the world. And then randomly you just sneeze randomly,
Yep. And it'll be like
and
a jump scare, just suddenly you'll be in the middle of talking.
exactly, yeah, exactly. It's just the worst. But that's where that's where that podcast lives, and that podcast that I'm in, that I'm featured in, is called The Fuzz, um, which is I think is FUSS, not ZZ. Yeah, I think it's SS. Yes. But yeah, that's majority of what I'm doing right now, and God, I work too much. I'm gonna rest for the day. After I play
Yes,
basketball, of course. I'm
there you
gonna
go.
rest,
Do the things
rest,
that
play
bring you
basketball.
joy.
Exactly, and then I'm gonna watch some anime too while I'm at it. I haven't seen some anime in a while, so thank you for that.
Excellent. I feel good we had that conversation too. I'm going to make
Me
sure I
too.
link all of these things in our show notes for this to just sort of get going with it. But again, Javier, like, thank you so much for this. This has been a freaking blast to get to know you more and, like, I don't know, get to have this conversation. So I'm so appreciative for you taking the time to come on this.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Like, I was really excited when, like, I heard about your podcast and I heard you were doing those interview type sessions and stuff like that. I was like, wow, this gives me enough time to, like, actually practice and prepare for it, and, like, to hopefully have, like, this practice when I actually go out into the field and, like, do the interviews in life, in
Yeah.
real life, and hopefully have that going for myself. Hopefully I'll do it when I'm not, sick or
Yeah,
dying.
right. You don't want to be sneezing in the middle of some
No,
other
no,
thing.
no, no, don't want to be doing that. It's just the years of me working to get to the point where I'm at now to be like, okay, my body needs to deteriorate.
I
It
feel that.
needs to slow down now.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, no, this has been a blast, Andrew, and I got to know you just as well as you got to know me, and this was incredible, and I would love to do it again. Like anytime you want, just hit me up, and I'll let you know what I'm doing. All right?
Absolutely. I will definitely be doing that because this, yeah, freaking fun. I can't wait to keep seeing you around the Discord and everything as well.
No, I got you. I got you.